Hannity and Combs, Michael Steele sitting in for Sean tonight. Nice to see you, Michael.
It's good to see you.
Work with you.
Yeah,
we'll have some
keep
fun.
you out of trouble.
Try to keep out of trouble. That's the whole idea. We get right to our top story tonight. Did Barack Obama receive preferential treatment from a mortgage company when he bought his Chicago house? That's the question posed by a Washington Post story today. According to the story, when Obama bought his new home shortly after being sworn in as a United States Senator, he negotiated an interest rate that was below the Chicago average at the time. It raises questions because of the mortgage mess facing many Americans and because the Obama campaign recently accepted the resignation of Jim Johnson from their vice presidential search committee after it was revealed he had received favorable mortgages from Countrywide. A recent report in Condé Nast Portfolio magazine also raises that same question about mortgages secured by two other sitting United States senators, Democrats Ken Conrad of North Dakota and Chris Dodd of Connecticut. But the Obama campaign says the senator didn't do anything wrong, and the mortgage company called Northern Trust issued a statement today saying the senator was not given any special consideration. Joining us tonight is columnist and author of If Democrats Had Any Brains, They'd Be... What's that word? Republican. Ian Coulter. I had a little trouble with certain words I don't read off the prompter very well.
I know.
You know, this is a nothing story. You know, my radio producer at the same time got a lower mortgage than Obama. He did it on the internet. So this really is a non-story.
I noticed that you're citing the Washington Post as claiming
the left-wing, the liberal press that you left, the left-wing Washington Post.
Right, because my answer is, yes, I agree with you. There's no problem at all with the mortgage. They're throwing that out there to try to distract us from what really is a scandal, and that is his dealings with the man Hillary Clinton called slumlord, and since then has become convicted felon slumlord.
He got no special
Tony
name from Tony Resco that's already been
that is a dirty deal. That is something worth looking at. The mortgage, nothing. No. That is a non-issue.
Right, so
you're right about that. And by the way, his mortgage has nothing to do with Countrywide or Chris Dodd, which are also very, very, very dirty.
Or Jim Johnson.
Or Jim Johnson. Those guys, what those guys got, and is also being lied about in the press, is to get a whole point off because you're in a VIP program with a bank. They're giving like $10,000 to Habitat for Humanity.
But Chris Dodd
wait a second. This is not a $10,000 advantage. It's $10,000 a year for 30 years.
Can you speak faster?
No, because you're going to interrupt me and I'm not going to get these points out.
Take a breath. That would be very nice. Look, Chris Dodd has said if he knew he got these special interests, he wouldn't have taken it. All right. So look, let's get back to the issue at hand. As you agree, this is a non-story. It's already been
No, Resco's a big story.
No,
the mortgage rate, not a story.
He got the same. He paid the same price per acre, basically, as Resco did.
This is what the Democrats keep doing. There's a real issue, like with B. Hussein Obama's
I'll tell you what the whole thing is about.
And then you pretend the issue is people think he's a Muslim. You know what the real issue is, Aunt? The real issue is the war in Iraq, the economy, and the things your side doesn't want to talk about, and the failing McCain campaign. Is John McCain running a good campaign? Okay, all those... No, I told you I'm not answering any questions about John McCain.
No, because you don't want to have to answer for John McCain. You don't want to talk about John McCain.
As for the war in Iraq,
no,
we are so ganging up on this one. All the things that you're calling issues, the issues you're talking about, your guy has switched on.
Oh, you mean John McCain who switched on immigration?
No, we're talking
who switched
about
on tax cuts? McCain, who wouldn't even sign McCain candidate or McCain Feingold, would he? No. Would McCain sign?
The crazy cause kids.
Would McCain today sign the legislation that has his name on it?
Obama is now for domestic spying, which I think your people have been calling fascism in America.
First of all, I don't like that he is for that FISA bill. I'm against that. I don't like his faith-based initiative because the government should not be deciding
religion. So all the issues, your guy's on the wrong side
No, not all the issues, but he's right on the majority of the issues. On how many issues do you agree with John McCain? Hello? How many?
Back to Obama.
I'm hearing, I hear the ocean in my ear.
And let's direct your attention this way for a moment, because Alan is in a fog at the present time. He's stuck on McCain. Look, I agree with you that this mortgage gate is not all that it's cracked up to be, but there's something I think that we can talk about here, and that is Obama said at one time, we fail to guard against practices that all too often reward financial manipulation instead of productivity and sound business practices during this housing crisis. Now, is this one of those practices that Obama's talking about that we should be concerned about? And if we should be concerned about it, why isn't he concerned about it?
No, you're right. That's a great point. I mean, he holds himself out as the second begotten son of God, point one. And point two, Ed Meese was harassed and criminally investigated. They had a special counsel for far less than this mortgage here. So if Obama were a Republican, oh yeah, the mortgage deal would be a big deal. I'm just saying I don't think that compares to the Tony Rezko thing, which really does look dirty. I mean, it's hard for people to follow it because the New York Times had one of those Jeff Gerth columns. Right. So, you know, no one can follow what's going on. You're bored by the second paragraph. It's actually pretty dirty. They both bought property that had to be sold on the same day. Rezko paid way more for his little slice of the property. Obama paid less than the market value. And then Obama writes a letter to get Rezko $14 million in taxpayer money. I mean, that is worth looking into. The mortgage thing is so minor compared to that.
It is a minor point, but it's part of a package. It's part of a pattern of behavior that we're seeing emerge on this campaign, where the candidate himself has projected this image of holier than thou, as some would say it, but then at the same time, you peel back the onion and you start to cry a little bit, you know, because there's a little there.
Yes.
And so, you know, as we go forward, I mean, do you think, or do you see McCain, for example, calling for the Senate to put in place new strictures, new exposure, new transparency for these types of transactions in the Senate?
Well, they sure ought to. I mean, the countrywide stuff with Chris Dodd, that is outrageous, outrageous, outrageous.
Yeah, but
and that is not in the same category as Obama's mortgage. That's why I think they're throwing the Obama mortgage out there to get us to go after that, which is virtually, it's nothing. It's a pea compared to the Chris Dodd countrywide stuff.
And that's the bait and switch. You focus on this, and we really don't want you to be exposed to what's really going on out here. All those are very important issues. But again, when your leading candidate steps up and says, you know, I'm the guy, I've got new politics, I'm bringing a new style, a new brand of leadership to Washington, again, you're finding out it's not all that new.
Right. No, wasn't there another Democrat, new young Democrat involved in a sleazy land deal?
Who would that be?
I don't think this is new. I think I've heard this before.
Broken by Jeff Gerth of the New York Times, by the way.
In an article no one could read.
Thanks, Ann.
The right-wing media.
Coming up next.